Hello everyone. It's now official. For a while, our Sundays will be such a blast. Even though we didn't get as lucky as the last week, which witnessed the release of 2 episodes of Yellowstone Season 5 at once, this week's episode was still a hit, proving that the new season has a lot to offer to its viewers. Now, what does make Yellowstone so unique for you? Is it a realistic portrayal of the country lifestyle? Is it politics? Or is it the morally gray characters? Well, we believe all 3 contribute to our enjoyment of the show immensely. That being said, the thing that makes us keep coming back is none of these elements. It's a fact that Yellowstone masters the phenomenon of plot twists at the end of each episode. So we cannot help but come back next week since curiosity kills us. Episode 3 of Season 5 was no different in terms of its major plot twist, and now we cannot wait for the next week to hit us. But before that, let's take a deep down at what happened in this episode. Last week, we watched Jon becoming a governor and getting used to his new lifestyle even though he's far from eager to embrace it. He was also very sharp on his political and economic stance as the new governor. He immediately canceled the deals with Market Equities and basically started a war. Beth was his biggest support in doing so, making it clear that Market Equities was fighting against the Duttons in general. In episode 3, we watched Market Equities playing their part in this war as they finally made a move by introducing a new executive named Sarah as a fresh player. Sarah's first move has been to seduce Jaime, as we had already expected. They basically conveyed a scheme pretending that they were so angry that Jaime betrayed them. Sarah emerged as the good police in this scheme and arranged a date with Jaime, which we have yet to watch for now. To understand Sarah's role in all these better, we need episode 4 and watch the 2 going on a date. Of course, Beth also didn't stand still in this episode as her hatred against Market Equities has become pretty personal over the past year. So she decided to transfer her ownership at Schwartz and Meyer, in a way that the land she owns will be unusable by Market Equities. This made Caroline go mad as she knew she will be interrogated in the New York office in a very intense session for this. But she remained firm on Sarah and her mission, showing that Market Equities is counting on Sarah and Jaime's critical date to save the company's ambitions in Montana. Then we watched Beth dooming her situation for no reason. When she saw that a woman was hitting on Rip in a bar, she immediately applied violence and injured her. Naturally, the fight got bigger and she got into custody. Considering her new position in the governor's office, we cannot wait to see how the public and Jon will respond to such a scandal. We are also struggling to understand why Beth, a very smart woman who would never do anything that would harm her family, do such a thing. We know that she is unhinged, but we believe such violence for too much even for Beth. It can harm Jon's political career deeply, and he had not been in office not even for a month yet. Will Beth's case be transferred to the court? We are not sure, but if it does, there is a chance for Beth to be imprisoned. Well, after causing the imprisonment of Summer Higgins, it was about time for fate to hit Beth this time. Also, we have to mention that Beth was celebrating Lloyd's 58th birthday in that bar, and if Lloyd is 58, we are all a bunch of embryos. Just saying. On the other side, Kayce and Monica are still struggling with the loss of their baby, as Monica gets more depressed every single day and morning. Watching his wife suffer, Kayce decided to leave his job as the livestock officer and took a step to find a new job. He said, "I choose her and I choose my son," which is admirable. The tricky thing is the fact that there is an ongoing crisis regarding wolves and killed farm animals in rural Montana, which will require the involvement of a livestock officer. So the person who will replace Kayce is very critical for the ranchers in the state, as well as the governor of Montana, Jon. Last but not least, we watched Thomas Rainwater being heavily criticized by his power for being a ruthless capitalist. It wasn't a surprise for him, of course, but he was still visibly sad as his business and sentiment toward his people's rights were in conflict. He is also concerned about Kayce leaving his office as well as Jon being the governor. As a businessman, he needs to think about profit maximization whenever he can. But he also owes some loyalty to the land and his people, which don't go hand in hand for the most part. He is also facing threats from Angela at all times, which is exhausting. It seems like Rainwater will be forced to make some tough decisions in the upcoming episodes, and we are more than eager to witness it. As you may have noticed, we didn't mention Jon much in this episode simply because he wasn't present in most scenes. We saw him twice, each time speaking to his children. At first, he mentioned his late wife to Beth, underlying that he is missing her so much. In response, Beth urged his father to find love again before it becomes too late. This is interesting because we know Beth to be a very jealous daughter who once tried to stab Summer Higgins just because she had been together with her dad. So what changed for Beth? We're not sure. Then we saw Jon speaking to Kayce, allowing him to bury his dead son in Yellowstone land. It was a tragic and brief scene that didn't prove us with many details. We believe this was a must-have episode in terms of getting more involved with other characters of the show. but still we miss John and would like to see him more in episode 4. What are your thoughts on Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 4? Do you think Beth will be imprisoned? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.